Being curious about sex and looking at pictures or films of naked bodies or people engaging in sexual behaviors is perfectly normal.
Education Scotland asked parents of 12 to 15-year-olds in Scotland, and they said, what would you like teaching in sex education at school? And 87% of the parents said, we'd like our kids teaching that masturbating to pornography is perfectly normal, natural and healthy, and there are no relevant moral considerations, so just go on right ahead, kids. No, that's not true. Education Scotland and the Scottish Government just talk to each other in the hyper-progressive world of Scottish politics and education, and just to make sure, they ask the LGBT campaigning groups for their input as well, and this is what they come up with. So here we've got unequivocal endorsement of pornography. Now I think that's just wrong. The best strategy with pornography, the best advice, the moral advice, is to avoid it completely, because it distorts sexuality away from real relationships. It can lead to addiction, and has been found in lots of research to lead to bad attitudes towards women in men. For example, there's been research done where one group of men shown a load of pornography and another group are not, they watch something else. Then at the end of that hour or however long, they're asked questions about how serious a crime is rape, for example. The ones who've been watching the pornography are more likely to say that rape's not really such a big deal. And yet you've got the hyper-feminist SNP giving this advice to school children. And all the other hyper-feminist MSPs from the other parties don't say anything about it. Another problem with pornography, it tends to be progressive. People get bored with one sort, so then go down the road of more violent or pornography involving younger and younger people. So ultimately, pornography causes family breakdown, child sex abuse, sexual assault and violence against women. But in the Scottish education system, the message is that pornography is just fine, apart from that it just is one caveat.
But you have to remember that porn contains some misleading messages, like bigger is better when it comes to breasts, penises, or the duration of sex.
So don't forget, porn isn't real, so don't let porn spoil your real sex life. This seems to be assuming that these 12 to 15-year-olds are having sex themselves. It also assumes that the best strategy is to watch porn, but just beware of its unreality. But that awareness doesn't change the fact that porn distorts sexuality and undermines relational capacity. And the images used are trivializing and tasteless. They're the sort of things that naughty boys should be scribbling in the back of their jotter, not the sort of things that the teacher should be presenting to the whole class. Just think to yourself, who wants to be involved in teaching this sort of thing? But if I were in a school, they wouldn't let me near relationships and sexual health education. But what sort of people would want to? People who share these values, and then they're given free rein to promote their personal philosophy of sexual promiscuity. So they spelt it out there, porn is fine, but also just to make sure the kids know as well, the message is masturbation is fine as well, including with porn. Porn is used for pleasure and masturbation, yes, and it's okay to explore your body. Masturbation for boys and girls is normal. This must always be in private. Now there's a variety of views on masturbation, but there's only one view presented here. A lot of people say that they associate feelings of guilt with masturbation, but the message delivered in Scottish schools is to ignore those feelings because it's absolutely fine. Now, the teaching of the Scottish curriculum is in direct contradiction to, for example, the teaching of the Catholic Church, but debate on these issues is alien in Scottish schools. There's the one true truth, the Scottish government's got it, and the children are going to be taught it.
During puberty, your body starts to produce more sex hormones. One of the results is more interest and curiosity about sexuality. Sometimes, young people will experience sexual pleasure and relieve stress and sexual tension by touching their genitals. That's called masturbation. It's very common for boys and girls. It's normal if you do it, and it's normal if you don't, and should always be done in private. But generally, masturbation, even a few times a day, does not present a problem and is a physically safe way to express sexual feelings.
So schools promote masturbation to pornography as a good thing. This is harmful to young people. This is going to carry on until people start voting for what they believe in. So join the fight against state-sponsored corruption of our young people by joining the Scottish Family Party today. There's a link below. Thanks for watching.